agenda to keep you where you are, rather than for you to, both of you to thrive, both of you to communicate on an equal footing. But if you find yourself in that instance whereby they are draining and it's accidentally on purpose, and you catch that and you give them a life, and you think, okay, the next time and the next time, I would encourage you to think of the value of doing it for a fourth time. Because if that is their mentality to keep you, because sometimes when we're shining, those around us are embarrassed. So they don't want you to shine, because then that shows the flaw in, that shows them the flaw in themselves. So in doing that, then they want effectively both of you to suffer same trials and tribulations, or they want you both to be on that pity party mat when you're picking yourself up, dusting yourself down and keeping it moving. And it's, I don't know whether or not the word serendipitous, you're speaking about that. And I was looking in the paper, and one of the things was about a young lady who 20 years ago had a dream to come to live in Jamaica, to retire in Jamaica. And it took 20 years for that dream to come to fruition. And she's now living in Jamaica. But just imagine the trials and tribulations she would have gone through, convincing people that it's okay, finding the money, having the money, building, not building, thinking money's coming over, and finding the location. And now she has her perfect location. But there would have been a lot of dream stealers in her wake that she would needed to have overcome.
Dream killers, yeah.
Yeah. And she knows what her vision is. She's planning for it. She's putting her money down for it. And property in Jamaica is not cheap. Building houses in Jamaica isn't cheap, even if there's something there already and you're remodernizing something or you're starting from scratch. It's not cheap. But for her to stand steadfast in her thoughts, and I would imagine there's possibly a number of people, like I said, from a dream stealer, dream killer, but also people that she would have to have taken out of her circle. Because if she had left them in her circle, she would never have arrived. Because there would have been people that would have told her about the incidents of killing in Jamaica. It happens in the UK. Hate happens in America. It happens in Canada. It happens anywhere, regardless of where you are. If that's your calling, that's going to be your calling. But she, like I said, was steadfast. She's in a gated community. She can wake up in the morning, and it's a small walk down to the beach. Her home overlooks the beach, and it's a perfect dream house that she has built. Has it been built?
Yes.
But she would have gone through the conversations or not gone through the conversations, as the case
And
may
they
be.
listen. Those people, those type of people, right? It may not be. It may not be yours, but there are plenty of people who want to yam off of your plate. Yeah, they want to yam off of your plate, right? And when I say that, I mean say if they, as you rightly said, if they don't see it for themselves, they don't want to see it for anybody else. They may not be in a position to do that, right? But they would prefer, for you to be stuck with them rather than say something. You know what?
Wish you all the
Good
best.
luck to you. All the best. All the best, man. And
To save me a room.
Huh?
Just save me a room. I'm wishing
Yeah.
you all the best. Just save
And
me a
all,
room.
and all them,
I'm
all them
coming.
type of things there,
Mm, mm,
you know,
mm,
and through life, and this is our connection thing as well, because like in as I say, in many ways, in the connections, in those putting your time out to make your connection with your people and your families,
mm,
right? It's also part of the one of the human needs of what we require,
mm,
you know,
mm,
because the worst thing is that you are there, and then you're there and you're living by yourself,
mm,
right?
mm,
That you don't
mm,
have any support system,
mm,
right? And it can happen very very quickly because one of the times that is challenging, right? It is challenging is when you're going through challenges,
mm,
right? And then you reach out for support like how you have given to others,
mm,
right? And in I would say in many cases, I'm not going to say most, in many cases, those who are doing for others, sorry, sorry about those who are doing for others, don't usually reach out for help
mm,
and assistance.
mm,
Meanwhile, they're in the need just as much as those that they have given to others.
mm,
And in some cases, probably more.
more. Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
And I've seen it. I've seen it. Those who have been been giving up their time and their energy on
mm,
a regular basis.
mm,
And then when it's turned around that they need some help and assistance, you would
mm,
think all of those that they have helped over the years of them giving their time and energy to, that
mm,
they would gather around. They would should be the first in line to say, you know something,
mm.
let
Here,
me help
Ted.
you now.
Mm, mm,
And it doesn't happen.
mm,
It does not happen.
mm,
So what do you do? What do you do in those cases? Because like, it can be disheartening. It can be disheartening because imagine now you have a skill and you're doing your time like you're just helping somebody, to try and ease through the day, ease through their life,
mm,
try to bring some stability into their life,
mm,
and then something happened to you that boy, so like you could just lose your job or something, and to find
mm,
a job is difficult, or to try and get a job of a certain standard of income,
mm,
right? So that you can maintain what you have or to
mm,
build upon.
mm,
It can be extremely difficult,
mm,
but yet this is the type of thing that happens on a regular basis. And then when you say, well, who's here to support you right through that?
mm,
Who's here? Who's gonna be the one that can say, something? Why you are going through some difficulties, but let's put two and two, let's make one. Yeah,
mm,
you know what I mean. It
mm,
might be boy, something. All right, then you're homeless, or you're gonna be put out your home.
mm.
Let's all right then. Come. We have a little room, so
Come stay. Mm,
come and stay yourself until you get yourself back home.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
These are the type of things that some of us are facing right now.
mm, mm,
We are facing them type of things there on a regular basis, you know. And it's not because boy, yeah, well, boy, so you're of an age. You should know better.
mm, mm,
Things like that now happen no more. Yeah,
mm,
they're not happen like that no more.
mm,
Yeah. Anyhow, listen, the lines are open 0203 289 6504 here on the Galaxy net, right? And also, you can view us on Facebook, on the Black Dividend Show, and also on the YouTube as well,
mm,
right? Or you can view us on there on the Black Dividend Show as
mm,
well. So until we find another platform, I can do that for the morning show. You know? So
yeah.
I'm just piggybacking that for right now. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then and of course it's Sister Sandra's pages as well. Right? Are you sharing it on your pages? Yeah. She's swinging her head and smiling. Don't worry, no problem, no problem. I'm gonna say in the future you can share the link
I will do.
to your social media as well.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So as you get that link there and you
Mm,
come in there, you can share it to your social medias as well.
yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay? So you can do that in the future shows. Future shows. Okay? Yeah,
Mm,
so like that. So that's us. So if you want to join us in our conversation this morning, right? We're talking around well, we open the show with making
mm,
connections with each other, you
mm,
know, and
mm.
the power of us making the connections.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
it's very I feel it's very important that we do that,
Mm.
make those connections, you know?
Connections, have those conversations,
Mm, mm,
taking time out to have those conversations with love rather than I'm having those conversations but I'm on a run.
mm,
I'm just stopping for a minute and literally whilst I'm talking to you, I'm also thinking about the shopping or I'm thinking about
mm,
something else, something on the media, something that's been said, something. So it'd be beautiful to hear from the family.
mm,
How was your weekend? What are you thinking? What did you take time out to do
mm.
over the weekend?
Yeah, we had the annual event of the marathon, which is right. All I'm
Mm.
gonna say is Black Power. Black Power. That's all I can say. Them fit, you see?
Mm.
Them fit.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm. No, I didn't. I didn't catch any of that.
fit.
Mm.
Uh, I
Okay.
don't know if you had there, but
Mm.
there is one there that I've been tempted many a time to say, you know, I'd like to do that one. The Nick Real, they did on the New Year over the New Year's, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
They do the
Yeah.
Nick Real marathon.
Mm.
Yeah,
For me,
they got a cycle. They got a
it's
cycling event
that.
coming
Yeah.
in August.
Yeah. In no, it depends on where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So some different things happen in different parishes.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a cycle event last week because I know I was reading about it, even though I didn't see any results. They were talking about an event and international riders coming along. So I thought it had already happened over the Easter rather than to come. But just because it happens in Kingston, it doesn't necessarily mean then that it won't also happen in other cities such as either Montego Bay and or Negril. And what they often do is it's replicated or they encourage. So the carnival that was last week in Kingston, they were talking about in future years other parishes would have a similar um, event at the
mm,
same time. So in case you can't make it to Kingston, it's not convenient location, access, etc., etc. They don't want you to miss out, so you can get the same excitement on your doorstep. So that's some of the things that they talk about, like I said, in terms of branching out. And again, it then becomes pretty good from a tourist point of view, because as a tourist, if you are staying in Mo Bay,
mm,
Montego Bay, Negril, you can then still access without having to trek all the way there. You can still enjoy without having to trek all the way there. It may dilute it, because I know in the UK, even though they have Carnival in London,
mm,
the same time they have it in Leeds, but the one in Birmingham's at on a different date. Um, it If you've got all of the carnivals in the same location, or in different locations on the same day,
mm.
again, the question is, do you dilute any of them? But it's a good problem to have, to be fair, having the opportunity to then pick, choose, and refuse. But yeah, I would normally, if I was in the UK, I'd probably have caught up with um, who won, caught up with a bit of the race, enjoyed elements of the race, dipped it in and dipped it out. But yeah, I didn't not looked at any of the media broadcast in relation to it at all this year.
You haven't been able to keep up, you said?
No, I haven't caught up with it. I've not even looked at it, glanced at it in terms of who the winners were, or watched any elements of it. It's not something that you're going to get it, but you're going to get it on the not on the terrestrial TVGA, obviously. Being the terrestrial, you'll need to get it on cable or one of those network channels.
Okay. One of the things I do like about it, because if you recall years ago, the coverage of sports was more wider and very varied here in the UK. But it seems to just be holding on to the populous type sportings now, mainly because of sponsorship, and because they spread their net wider now to other various networks, right? So obviously the things that are mainstream are those things that we see as elite, like the tennis, the golf, football, and like there's some athletics as well. But it's like only the big ones, And I remember years ago they used to have a program called World of Sport, right? And that would be they would take in the not only the populous types of sporting events, but even the smaller programs, international, and those events that were unusual, you know. But like even now they do like some of these other channels. They would have what do you call it? Ultra ultra fun,
What, the Iron Man type sports?
huh?
Is it the
Yeah,
Iron
yeah,
Man?
yeah, yeah. So like they be running for like 3 days solid and all them things there, you know.
Mm,
But the thing for me, right? Because even like watching that marathon yesterday, or glimpsing it, it's only the last 30 minutes that I'm really interested in anyhow, because it just builds up. But even
Mm,
though, remember, that these athletes, they were doing 26 miles plus,
mm,
right? Around 2 hours, just over 2 hours,
mm,
and I think, boy, boy, that's some distance. And like, what speed were they doing and things like that? And I thought, Lord of mercy,
mm,
that is some serious, serious things. And I remember, and I recall that I played a clip the other day, not too long ago, here on the Galaxy Mornings Risings of Africans who said that they were running at 4 hours as they were running at top speed. So basically, they were probably running what they were running like. And I thought to myself, well, then again, that's the ability of most of the people. They could do that. They could run like that, because they had conditioned and they were fit enough to do that,
mm,
right? But we look, when they sanitize it as much as I would say, they sanitize it to the extent of, oh, we can run a marathon now, right? And I think to myself, boy, look on this now. Obviously, the reason why those others are running at their full speed is because they're doing it for survival. They're doing it to hunt and catch foods and everything else. So their focus on it is probably more than just the medals and the ability to actually outrun another person. They're doing it to catch things. You understand?
mm.
So even for them to sort of like to the context, like, wow, you had to do this. Their focus is completely different on probably look at it like their ability to actually do that. You know, and in saying that, I just think on the other side that how great the human being, the human form, is actually able to do that, and it's not like the one person can do it. It'll be like a group of them, the whole group of them. They just be running like that, and I think, wow, these people are, the human form is truly a tremendous thing when you push it to the levels can actually um, achieve,
Yep.
you know. And I am of like our abilities and what we have been able to achieve over our lifetime.
Yeah. So I've often marveled, but for them, for some of them, let me rephrase it. For some of them, it's just a means of I need to get from A to B,
Mm,
and running is one of the things that I do,
mm,
have
mm,
done since going to school, and still do it in terms of young adulthood to as I go through life,
mm,
and I have an opportunity of doing it for a living.
mm,
And others, it's just from a climate and from an environment point of view, um, because of the altitude and running at such altitude and also running in the heat, it just gives them the added edge whereby when they're running on an international scale,
mm,
international arena, um, they will always do as well or even better than their European counterparts,
mm,
American counterparts, because of it's. I'm taking outside the genes. I'm just talking about the climate and their ability
mm,
is surpass and way better than um, their peers. So it is interesting when you see them running when they're doing the marathon. And the other thing that they're doing, and it comes back to our initial conversation, are they supporting one another? And for me,
Yes.
sometimes just observing them just running as a group, as a collective, supporting one another, um, being the pacemaker for one another, even just in terms of getting the drink or taking the breeze for one another. It's just interesting just to see. They do it in other sports as well. So I see them often doing that in cycling in terms of, okay, it may be the Bradley Wiggins or the Chris Froome who's winning the race, but there's a whole load of people around them that's taking the breeze, getting their drinks, the style, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, from a sporting point of view, it's a we understand where we stand. We understand that collectively you may be the one that gets the medal, but it's a group of us who's got you there. And it's sometimes for me it's just interesting understanding and just realizing that maybe Lewis Hamilton who's collecting the trophy, but you've got
Yeah.
the back room individuals who are building the engine, maintaining the engine, observing the various specifics, how it's running, etc., etc., doing the tire changes. So there's a lot happening, not just for the individual, which brings us, like I said, back to the initial conversation in terms of can we do something on our own? That no man's an island, that thought process that we
This-
do need to
you
talk
know,
and have.
one of the frustrations is that, even though we know of these athletes, right, who have excelled excelled in their sport, and yet they still get a fight. And the only reason they get the fight is because it's not because of their abilities, it's because of their ethnicity. Ethnicity. Oh, God, I'm gonna get the right pronunciation on that one day, right? And even though they said, look, I participate in this sport and I'm able to push the barriers to a different level, right? To the extent of that they have to change the rules. They change the rules to accommodate their abilities. Yeah. And like, even for them, they bask in the glory of their failure and their demise and their character assassination attempts. They bask in that. You know, and like, for me, I just think to myself, boy, when will this ever end? When will this racial hatred towards like people of African descendancy, whether it be a full or half or even one drop, when will this racial um, discriminatory behavior towards us ever end? When will it ever end? Huh? Because like for me, obviously, yes, it is frustrating. But the fact that you have somebody there and all they're doing is just is performing in a sport that if they took away that element, then it would just be down solely to that person's ability to perform. Even when you see a child who's participating in some kind of sports, and they think, "Oh, I could be really good at this," and then as an adult, say that there is going to be that discriminatory element that possibly they may be good and they may be excellent, but that is going to be part of the judgment as well. That will always be part of the judgment. you know. And when will there be ever like a pure acceptance of everybody being equal and just their abilities are the actual standard of saying, you know what, that athlete there, right? And their performance, because you can even hear it in the commentary of some of these commentators as well, in the sense of that they would talk in a different tone and pitch about one athlete, and then another one in a derogatory tone again, and you think, wow, wow, you know, why would you do that? Why would you be like that? And then it's the company that they're working for, and I say, am I hearing this? And they are not hearing this. But the fact is that they are hearing it. They're allowing it.
mm,
You know. So
mm,
therefore, what can you say? What can you say? What can you do?
mm,
You know. But as I say, I'm in total admiration of like their abilities, right? As athletes, you know. And obviously, it probably is demoralizing to a lot of them that that we got those the athletes from the Africas who regularly are winning most of these races around the world, and that they're just looking for that one white hope that will come in and win it one day, so that they can start singing their praises 10 times louder than those what usually win. Yeah,
mm.
yeah, man.
So you seem to be coming and going. So every time I
Oh,
put myself on mute, it appears to be okay. When I'm off
okay.
mute, it
Well,
comes
what
and
what
goes.
what I what I suggest is that you
Go
go,
out and come.
yeah, go out and then come back in, because I'm getting the feedback as well. It seems to be building up the resonations or the sound in your area. Yeah. Okay. So if you go out and come back in, and then we can reconnect in that way there, sir. Okay, right, right. So our sister Sandra is there. At this point here, I think I should take a little break here. Let me just take a little break here for a little while, right? And I'll soon come back again. Right. So you can call in on 0203 289 6504. Okay, and then we can have a conversation as well. All right, that's all. Yeah. One Friday, you get up and say, you get up and say, come on, you sing, hooray! Please do. You will see. We were meant to be. Oh, we were meant to be. Darling, you see. Thank you, Lord, for the sunshine you brought me. Thank you, Lord, for the lessons you've taught me. I will never change. Yeah. Because of you, I've got so much to one Friday, you to be. We were meant to be. You see. Hooray! Please say, hooray!
Is that better?
Not yet. I'm to you. These people like to jump in so quick enough.
Going before the B of the bang,
Exactly,
as
exactly.
Linford used to say back in the day.
Exactly. Be the be the band. Hey, we want the B, innit? B of the
Mm-hmm,
banger. B of
mm-hmm,
the banger. I tell you, that's another really there, he took his time and just come up and remember, he did win the gold medal in the Olympics
mm-hmm,
as
mm-hmm,
well. So
mm-hmm,
he's had his time and he
mm-hmm,
was there. It's just
mm-hmm.
something that everybody was running backwards at the time, but at least he get there.
He's got there.
Get
Can't
there.
take that away from him.
Exactly.
Definitely can't take that away from him.
Exactly. And drug free too.
Mm-hmm,
Mm,
mm-hmm.
mm, mm.
Pure
Yeah,
natural talent
exactly.
and hard work,
Yeah, and like I think
dedication.
if I'm not mistaken, he became the we're talking about Linford Christie here. Um, he became the coach as well, isn't he? He
Mm.
became the for the British team. Yeah,
I know there were individuals on the team that he coached. I don't know whether or not he became the coach for the men's team. I don't know.
right, right. It probably that's what it was. And then there was some kind of scandal that was going on, and they said that he could not attend the events that they were performing at.
So he had chosen to run a race,
Hmm?
and they done a drugs test afterwards and found that he had high
Hmm.
levels of XYZ in his body, and they discredited him
Yeah,
because of it
yeah. They were trying to strip him of his titles and all
mm.
them things. Yeah.
and question his ability. And then the slurs started to appear
Mm,
a little
mm,
bit louder and a little bit with more vocalized in terms of, was it drugs? If he done it now, did he do it then? And etc. etc.
all them
And
foolish.
he's always been one of those athletes that, as far as I can see, he potentially ran a race that he didn't need to run. So the
Mm,
question is, why are you going to put drugs in your system for a race you don't need to run?
mm, mm, mm. All them things there. You see. Listen, and this is just it because I also recall that where was it last China? One of the Olympics games was in China, was it?
Mm,
Right,
Beijing,
Beijing.
that's a
That's it.
recent one.
And then Usain Bolt was running in at that one there,
Mm.
and then one of his comments was, "I never knew I had so much blood inside me because the amount that they're taking from me." I said, "I'm surprised I have so much blood."
Mm. Mm.
Because every minute they were testing, 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 testing
They were determined
mm,
to find
something.
something in him that didn't um, would give him the unfair advantage that they
Mm,
thought that he had, when it
yeah.
was pure genetics and hard work.
Mm,
I know I saw a couple of not clips, shows where he's training, and when I say training to exhaustion,
mm,
and it comes back to the fact of, if you want something enough, you've got to be prepared at some point to put it all on the line. And if you're
mm,
not prepared to put it all on the line,
mm,
and take athletics out of it, but anything, if you're not prepared to put it all on the line, then at some point you've got to question your drive.
Mm.
So for him, my perception is he put it all on the line for 9 seconds, 9 point whatever it is seconds for his
Mm.
world record. So we only see that side of it where he's
But the
running
work
at his own
behind it,
time.
right
But it's the
behind it.
work
Yeah.
behind it, the
Mm.
conversations, the what am I going to give up
Mm.
from a family point of view, from a friendship point of view, from a I can't make it to every party, every rave.
Mm.
I can't make it because of that drive that he has in order to be the best he can be and live his purpose. And
I've,
there's many of us that will do things half-heartedly. It's like
mm.
having that conversation but doing something else at the same time
Mm.
and doing that thing called multitasking. No such thing.
The few athletes that I do know who performs at international level, right?
Mm,
And that was one of the things what they said is that they outside of athletics is very few people that they know, you
mm,
know, because
mm,
obviously everything is honed around them performing high, and especially like those who had trained from when they were child or
mm,
children,
mm,
right? And one of the things they said is that their childhood, right, was like a full time job.
mm,
You know,
mm,
that some he said most of the athletic meets when they went to when they were young, it's only about three or four of them who actually were competing against.
mm,
Yeah? Everybody else
mm,
just turned up and ran
mm,
or
mm,
performed or whatever, right?
mm,
It wasn't a case of they practiced or anything like that, or they trained or
mm,
did any training or anything like that.
mm,
It was never really like that, you know.
mm,
So it would only be, as I say, that you probably go and then you get to a certain level of where you will find that there was athletes that actually trained,
mm.
right? And it was literally a full time job, not only for them
For their
personally,
parent or guardian.
for the parents and guardians as
Mm,
well,
mm,
you know. So
mm,
in that way there, it was a full on business,
mm,
in that way there, you know.
mm,
Um, they said, oh, we travel places around the world, and they said that it's not as glamorous as what you think it is. It's not as glamorous what you think it is. You go there, you go do your performance, and then you're flying back. It's not like, oh, we're going on a holiday or anything like that. You know, the expenditure of what it costs as well is like
mm,
very very extensive. Very very expensive to do that
mm,
because it's
mm,
most of the finances they have to finance themselves. You
mm,
know, so
mm,
like when you're talking about like sponsorship and monies and things like that, there isn't much money.
mm.
There isn't that much money
There
that
isn't no,
comes out of it. You know,
no, no,
and it's only the winners that actually
mm,
get those type of monies.
mm, mm,
So
mm. They've
so
got
you
that sponsorship. It reminds me of the Jamaican 400 meters runner last year.
mm,
Um, got on the wrong bus. So there's the athletes bus that takes them from the village to the stadium. Got on the
mm,
wrong bus. Didn't have the funds in order to. When he worked out where he needed to go, it was, hey, my race is about in the next. I need to sign in. I need to do
mm,
everything I need to do as a pre-race um, ritual behavior, and end up having to catch a taxi. But in
mm,
catching a taxi, he had to borrow the money from, I don't know if it was a I think it was a stranger
mm,
standing there. He won the race,
mm,
and he was just talking about his experiences. And you think to yourself, okay, from a timing point of view, everything had been down to the minute.
mm,
So
mm,
him running and catching the bus, a bus happened to be the wrong one.
mm.
Just shows you how it's just fine margins.
Yeah.
And he's not walking around with a kit bag that's got an extra $100 bill in it that
Mm,
can help him if he needs it, so he can buy a soda, a juice, or anything,
mm,
because they can't then buy anything food wise because of the drug testing and
mm,
having to justify why the cough syrup that they take in Jamaica can't necessarily translate in America
yeah.
or Russia or any of the other countries.
Mm, mm,
So it's something that they're prepared to give up. But to me, I see that as to some degree an extreme,
mm, mm,
because there's only a few people that do from an athletics point of view.
mm,
However, the principle of what they're prepared to give up is something that we all need to do,
mm,
assuming we're living our purpose and we choose
mm,
to, or
mm,
we know our purpose, or we enjoy our purpose.
mm, mm,
What are we prepared to give up? Is it going to be the television? Is it going to be the media?
mm.
Is it going to be the going out and raving? Is it going to be the drinks with the lads or the um, our friends? What are we prepared to give up in order to achieve our dream? Our dream to do as that sister had done in terms of 20 years, had that dream of wanting to live in Jamaica
Mm.
and doing what it needed to be done in order to make it happen. So it's a case of what are we
That,
prepared to
that
give up?
is just it. That is just it. Because there's many of us who have that desire to
Mm,
go and live in other places, like how many of us have that hankering to go and live within Africa,
mm,
right?
mm, mm,
Um, and it still fathoms me, right? How why is it that many are Rasta, right? They talk about Africa and all them things there, but there's many who's never gone,
mm,
many,
mm,
right?
mm,
And we have, and the thing is that for me, right? Don't get look. Each person live their life or they live their life, yeah,
mhm,
right. But for me, if that is one of your what's say one of your conditions of what you would like to live, and you're gonna talk about it, so right, just like how when our families, our people was enslaved, the main thing was to be free, right? And even to the extent of that, some people would work and work and work and save and save and save, and they knew that they would not be free, but their children would be free. Yeah, and that was their main purpose, right? So, like for me, I'm thinking, how serious are you really about this thing? How serious are you? How much do you really want to be free? God, I don't know why I get in all this cough business this
you
morning.
want to be drinking your water.
Well, I've had about half a liter already. But
Okay.
anyhow, but I'm just thinking to myself that if you want to be free, you must really, that must be your utmost. As you get up, set the
Mm,
plan,
mm,
move
mm,
towards it, go on with
mm,
it.
mm,
You
mm,
know. And the
mm,
thing is that it may seem, but boy, this I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I have to try and do something.
mm.
And if that's the case, do something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do
Just
something.
even point yourself in the right direction.
Mm, mm,
You understand? Point
mm,
yourself in the right direction. Get the foundation there.
mm,
You know, because sometimes it can be. I find it very frustrating sometimes when I'm hearing, you know, certain manners. Boy, I say, boy, Africa, this Africa, that, and then like when you find out, say they've never even been to Africa,
mm, mm,
right? I mean, don't get me wrong. We've been blessed, right? You and I, you know,
mm.
we've been blessed that we've been able to go
Oh
there
yeah. Yeah.
and experience what it is. So
Mm,
it's not no fallacy that we're looking on, or
mm,
vicariously through others
mm,
visions,
mm,
through books and things like this. You know, we've gone there. We know the smell of the place. We know the taste of the
yes.
place.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
You understand? We've shaken the hand. We've knocked flesh out
Mm,
this with
mm,
those who live what
mm,
Africa is. Yeah,
mm, mm,
and of course, our 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 views and our experience is our views and our experience, right?
mm,
Many many a person say, "Oh, what's it like over there?" Because I could tell you what my experience was,
mm,
right? But if I tell you how it is, you have to go and find out for yourself,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
what I experienced out there, you would never experience that.
Mm,
You go and
mm,
experience for yourself, and then you come back with your story and your
yes. Yeah.
tales of Africa. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like it's one of those things of that. Like for instance, the tour that we went on with Professor Les Henry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also I went on the tours a few times
From
with
Black History.
Black History Studies with
And
Mark.
they're
Mark.
going, yeah. Mark and Charmaine Simpson.
Hmm. Right.
Charmaine's going Black History Studies as a trip in May, and I believe they've got another one
Mm. They do
in
two. They do 2 times a year.
October.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do
they've got
two
another
times
one
a
in
year.
October.
Yeah, and phenomenal, phenomenal. Because like
Mm,
if you've never been to experience that trip of the Nile, right?
mm, mm,
Um, you would go there, and then it just brings things to life, brings
mm,
things to life. You know,
mm,
I know, so boy, it was a life changer for me when
mm,
I went and
mm,
experienced it. Although
mm.
I knew these places and everything, but when you put your foot on soil
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and touch them place there,
Mm,
you just say wow, and it
mm,
brings it to life for you, you know.
mm, mm,
And then you go and meet the people then,
mm,
right? And
mm.
you just it's not only the history, but it's to find out what they're doing now, how
Yeah.
they're doing things now, you know, which
Mm,
was fascinating in itself,
mm,
you know. And then you think, well, boy, could I actually live like this?
mm,
And I want, to be honest, some of the places, no, I wouldn't want to live like how they live out there, right? But
mm,
you know what? That's how they live, and that's
mm,
how it go on for them.
mm,
But there are other places that I've been to, and I think, yeah, this could work for me,
mm,
right?
mm,
Understand? This could work for me, yeah, yeah. Them type of life, yeah, I could
mm,
live that,
mm,
right? It's not everywhere you're gonna go, and you have to go dig up dirt and all them things there.
mm.
You can have a nice, very very comfortable life out
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
right? You have all that you need,
All the
right?
mod cons, all the amenities, everything that you're used to over here.
Mm,
But the question is, are you prepared to make the start?
yeah.
Are you prepared to do what it needs to do?
Mm,
And part of that may be giving up, like I said, in terms of so that money is then put aside, you
mm,
save for it, you make the provisions, you go beforehand, you check it out. So
mm,
a number of people I've spoken to in the past, when I've spoken about Egypt, they
mm,
automatically go to but there's a war on or there's something out there.
mm,
To be fair, there's something everywhere. So
mm,
if you're gonna use that as your barometer,
mm,
you will only stay in your four walls
mm,
behind your closed door.
mm, mm. It's like living in London, right?
Yeah.
Every day there's some kind of murder or something go on, so
Mm-hmm.
and people that get killed up and all them things there. How many
Mm-hmm.
of us actually witness that in our lifetime? How many of us actually witness it?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee, I guarantee, very, very, very few
Mm-hmm.
of us have actually witnessed that directly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, indirectly, yes, through the media and all them things there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but to say that you've actually witnessed them things there
Mm-hmm.
directly, how many of you have done that?
Which is potentially another reason or rationale to
Mm, mm,
be conscious about what you're feeding yourself
mm,
by way of the media,
mm.
because it may slow you down
Yeah.
with that fear factor.
Mm, mm. Which most of the media, if you follow it straight from here,
Mm,
it like how they like to poison us against the rest of the world, and yeah,
mm,
right? If you follow that, you wouldn't go anywhere.
no,
You wouldn't go anywhere.
no.
And the
Mm,
sad thing to say is that even those who come from the Caribbean, many of us have been dissuaded
mm,
few because of the media's attention
mm,
to 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 the crime and the murders, and people get
mm,
murdered and things like that. And everybody think, boy, yeah, you can't go here, you can't do this and all that because boy, you might get killed off and all that. You understand?
mm,
But how many of you actually go there? I mean, like you're in Jamaica,
mm.
right? Have you ever witnessed a killing or shooting like that directly?
No.
See, in all the years that you've been there,
Mm,
you understand?
mm.
Right?
Or
So
even now, I will jump on a bus and I'd go to Kingston, and it's like they look at me as if to say, "But you go on your own." Yeah,
mm,
but aren't you frightened of what?
yeah, you see
You
the
wear
fact.
your jewelry. Yeah. But
Mm,
what I don't do is I don't make a noise.
mm,
I aim to blend in,
mm,
and I'm not there with the mobile phone and having a big conversation.
mm,
If I'm going to be using my mobile phone, I'm going to be putting in my earpiece and or standing with my back against the wall, but conscious of what's happening around me,
mm,
to the point of, if I'm feeling uncomfortable, just put the
mm,
phone away,
mm,
pull down my sleeves if I've got sleeves on, or I'm not going there and jingling jewelry. And a lot of the jewelry that you can buy on the street corners isn't real gold anyway.
mm,
But
mm,
I'm not drawing attention to myself. I'm not wearing the most flashy trainers, the most
mm,
flashy name brand bag, trousers,
mm,
etc., jeans, whatever. I'm keeping it, like I say, low key. But I'm not gonna
mm,
not go and wanting a chaperone,
mm,
um, because something may happen. It's exactly the same as if I'm going around in London
mm,
and I'm traveling either early in the morning or late at night.
mm,
It's to be conscious and mindful of what's happening around you. And
mm,
if you feel that there is something happening, I've never been one of those who I'm driving in a car and there's an accident and I'm doing the rubbernecking. My reasoning is, if I can't support the person, I'm not medically trained to support the person,
mm,
why am I standing there gawping,
mm,
using that as a form of entertainment? To me, it just doesn't make sense.
mm.
So I'm not driving fast, but I'm not adding to the congestion, because
Exactly.
the paramedics need to get there, the police need to get there. So I'm getting out of the way so they can do what they
Mm,
need to do in order to support that person.
So true. So true. So true. Yeah. 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 You know, and that is so true because, like, as we do, we encourage, you know, our families to go to these places, right? Obviously, do your due diligence. In other words, do your research, right? Um, Move safely. Don't just take it as said and rely upon people to do everything for you. Make sure that you can do things for yourself as well. You know that you have a as you would say, you have a B and a C and a D plan. You know because it's not everything that work out how it's supposed to. You know.
It's why do we leave our front door, but we sometimes leave our head sitting? We leave our common sense sitting on the
Other
dining
side.
room chair,
Mm,
and we don't travel with it. We don't do the simple things, or we divorce ourselves from that reality and give someone else the um, permission to make the decisions for us. And up
mm,
until that point in time, we've grown big as adults, and we're slowing down. We're not we're not making the sensible choices,
mm,
and then we're blaming the rest of the world for our predicament. So there's
mm,
some things that are happened and destined to happen, but why are you going to add to that mix,
mm,
accidentally or on purpose? It is a case, for me, it's a case of just being sensible,
mm, mm,
being mindful, being cautious, traveling to these places, countries, experiencing other situations, other places, putting myself in a position where I can do so.
mm, mm,
And that is a case of putting aside the money, saving for it, or if I'm going to do it on the credit card because I want to make sure I've got insurance if anything does go
mm,
Pitong, I've got the money to pay for it once I come back.
mm,
But not going to, for me, doesn't seem like a viable option. Um, like I said, on many occasions I've spoken to people about Egypt and they will always tell me about the war. And I'm thinking, is Egypt always got a war on?
mm. And is it in the areas that you're visiting?
Yeah.
Mm,
So you may choose to say, okay, you're not going to go to the Ukraine because there's nothing there to be fair.
mm,
But you wouldn't want to go there. But Egypt, is there a war on?
mm,
I know that there are, um, when it was Nigeria and the politics
mm,
and the election, you may not choose to go out there at that point. But you
mm,
may then choose to go out there now that the elections are over. But it's just making the conscious decision to say, I'm still going to go out there
mm,
and I can be safe when I'm out there.
mm, mm.
Um, there's trouble in one of the countries. Is it Sudan at the moment? Is
Yes,
it
Sudan. Yeah,
Sudan? So
that's
you,
right.
again, you may choose not to go out there
Mm,
now because there's trouble. But then does that mean you're never going to go out there?
mm,
So it's just, like I said, why leave your house and leave your head or your common sense on the step?
mm.
Carry it with you and do the logical things that you would choose to do, want to do, are able to do, to expand your mind and to expand your experiences. So then you can make a choice as to, is that somewhere that I really want to live?
Mm, mm,
And if it's not somewhere I really want to live, don't badmouth it
mm,
with no experience.
mm. Very, very true. Very, very true. Very, very true. Because, like, even if you say, okay, then I know them people because I live with them. Sorry, I live near with people down, and they have this characteristic about them and all them things there. Let me
Mm,
tell you something. The person that you buck up on the street down in Peckham,
mm,
is not the type of person that you buck up in their homeland, right? Let's say we move different in different
mm,
lands. Yeah,
mm, mm,
it's like you buck up on a Jamaican here
mm,
in the UK. It's
mm,
not the same Jamaican you're gonna be bucking up in Jamaica,
mm, mm.
right? You might buck up on the same person, but they behave completely
Completely
different,
different. Yeah, yeah.
right? They behave completely different. Yeah. So we
Mm,
can't be judging people from what you know here in the UK to what you
mm,
know over there. So
mm,
in wherever they're coming from. Yeah.
mm,
Like yeah. So make that be your judgment either. Don't make that be your measurement
mm,
either. You
mm,
know,
mm.
because like I know say that reputation travel,
Yes, yes,
reputation
yeah,
travel. So
yeah.
it's and just as much just as much, unfortunately to say, just as much we have that interculture, um, um, I would say distrust.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
it is right across the road. As much as you could have a story about them, they would have a story about you as well.
mm.
So until you go there and meet people,
You
you
can't say, yeah.
can't say that either.
Mm,
You
mm.
know, you can't say
And
that.
part of that distrust comes from what we're fed from a media point of view,
Mm, mm.
which
Very,
feeds into
very much
that
so.
distrust.
Very, very much so. Right.
Mm,
Um, I know. Say that a lot of these politicians, they, why they
mm,
should be held accountable for
mm,
every time that them tell a lie. In other words, as soon
mm,
as their mouth open,
mm,
say that what they're telling you is a lie,
mm,
right? They take the truth and bend it like so,
mm,
so that
mm,
so that so that they're the ones that are looking good.
mm,
They're the saviors, yeah. But they're not saved, no. They're not saved,
mm,
no.
mm.
So
I saw an article, glanced at it, and thought to myself, it's only now that you're catching up.
mm.
Um, Tony Blair admitting, and I thought, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Tony Blair. Yeah,
He's not the only one. There's lots of, like you say, politicians.
mm,
But I wouldn't necessarily only say from a politician point of view. We just all need to check and be more mindful in terms of what we say and how we say it,
yeah, man. Yeah,
and what
man.
how we treat one another.
Definitely. I want to play this clip here, right? Because he's talking about that tribe there, right? Of those yeah, yeah. You see, and that's only one little clip of that documentary there. I'll have to find out where that clip is though. But It
So
would be.
I'd never heard it, so I'm not sure whether or not.
Oh, sorry. It's yeah, I forget that you can't hear right at the moment because of this.
That's okay, as long as uh
Listeners can hear it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, then
yeah.
that's the
They can hear it. They can.
okay.
Yeah. So like they basically is was it the Hadza, HADCA, right? HADCA, the Hadza tree, Hadza tribe is called. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Got this short out today, and I got try and start it out today. Yeah, the Hadza tribe. That's the title of that one. There, so you know. Yeah. What else? I'll go give a big shout out to our brother Danny Pink, right? And he's hosting of the Ubuntu Coffee Morning Show. And this on Saturday they had a guest there, um, one of the members of the Black Father Support Group, um, Brother Gary. Brother, Brother Gary, he's recently been appointed as the KC, the King's Counsel. So he's a defense barrister. So he works in the chambers there, mainly like around the Old Bailey. So he's in one of the chambers around there, you know. And as I say, he's a defense barrister. Very interesting
Mm,
interview that he had there, you know. So I don't know if Dan is able to allow the interview to be able to reach rebroadcast somewhere or downloaded, but it'd be
mm,
very interesting if he can get that out because it'd be very interesting for those who actually view that very interesting story that he was relaying like a biographical type of interview, you know, and
mm,
the law, and also it was associated with the law and what was criminal law and things like this as well. So
mm,
very interesting, the way how it is, and I think they're gonna have a part as well. Well, I'm hoping they will, because you know it's one of those things that once you open the box, there's so much more. So
mm,
much more.
mm, mm, mm,
So I say well done to our brother Daniel there as well. That was one of the other highlights of the last few days as well. You know.
yeah.
Anyhow, so we're coming to the top. I say thank you once again for joining us. Summarization,
Thank you.
summarization.
Um, so if I think about the conversation where we started from a communication point of view, it's not only what's said, it's how it's said and the
Mm,
tone behind it. But being prepared to reach out, and if you're reaching out to someone, don't reach out to them by way of hi, bye, I'm still doing my thing. Take
mm,
time out and have that conversation.
mhm,
Listen, make it a two-way adult to adult conversation rather than like I said, I'm in my space doing my thing, even though I'm standing here talking to you, I'm thinking about the shopping, the this, the that, the whatever.
mhm,
To the point whereby we then spoke about the um, person, the young lady from a 20 years, she had a dream. She knew what she wanted. She wanted to
mm,
live in Jamaica, emigrate
mm,
home in Jamaica, and she's made it happen. And
mm,
it's what are you prepared to give up? That was her dream, but others of us will be doing things and being mindful of what are we prepared to give up. And
mm,
there's a whole universe, world out there.
mm.
Don't be limited by your four walls and your front door.
That ooh, that is one of the things that I've always said. And I know one of our destinations is the continent, but we got the whole world. We got the whole world. Don't just limit ourselves to one in one area, one area. We got the whole world to experience, you know. And just like our foreparents, right? They circumnavigated the whole of this planet, right? Before those who came along and made up their story
Mm.
about their circumnavigation of the world. We was there first. We done been there. We done that already.
Mm.
In fact, wherever they went, we
Mm.
was there already.
Mm.
Long time,
Mm.
right? I think the only place that we weren't. Oh no, then again, they have remnants of ourselves in those places, in the Iceland and all them things there. So
Mm.
we've been there. We've done that.
Mm.
Yeah, we're
Mm.
probably doing it even now.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just something that we just not on camera. We're just not on camera. That's what it is, right? You know. So yeah, it's a beautiful sight to see, right? Wherever you are, there's gonna be people like us around left, right, and center.
Mhm.
Always reach out, make connections, and even a smile and nod of acknowledgement is a beautiful thing. It can make somebody day just doing
Yes.
it,
Yes. Yes.
Anyhow, so we've reached the top of the hour, right? Our next presenter should be in at about, well, they're due to come in for 10 o'clock, right? So until then, have a great day. And Sister Sandra,
Yep. I'd say have an amazing day.
hmm
We are in control, so let's make it be the best one yet.
yes, absolutely, 100%. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you to the listenage. And till the next time, live good, live good.
This is a call for the people of TNT. We can make the difference. We can do better. Let's just put heads and hearts together. Save the place. This is our country. Communities shall shock like scattered torn. Country place alarm clocks every dying morn. Well-intentioned projects seem a farce sham, while the usual suspects to the east Saddam. Well, although they sign a truce, still them bad boys running loose in these killing fields. Otherwise,